So the commissural fibers of the cerebrum. This is very important topic under the white matter of the cerebrum, and here we go. So good evening everyone. Commissural fibers are basically the fibers which are joining the two cerebral hemispheres. These are white fibers and they are interhemispheric because they are connecting one hemisphere to the other one. So there were other white fibers also which we have discussed. These are the fibers. Here you can go. Yeah. So these are the commissural fibers connecting two hemispheres, and then we have seen the association fibers which were connecting the small cortical areas, and they are also white fibers, and there were long association fibers also. Some fibers which are projecting from cortex towards the lower centers of the brain, and also few fibers coming towards the cortex. These are the projection fibers. So but we are concerned of today's concern is commissural fibers. तो हम सिर्फ commissural fibers ही देखने वाले हैं. तो जब हम दो cerebral hemispheres को अलग करने की कोशिश करते हैं, they don't get separated because of this thick bundle of commissural fibers present here. So you can see above this the corpus callosum, there are few striations. You can see here these three longitudinal stria, four longitudinal strias can be seen, which we are going to see later. What are these and how these are present here? So this is corpus callosum, the largest commissural bundle in brain. It has about 300 million fibers and it connects wide areas of two cerebral hemispheres. So not always the similar areas can connect the heterotropic areas or as well. But these are two exceptions where these areas are not being connected by corpus callosum. The area 17 and the area 3, 1, 2 of foot and hand region. Now, what are the parts of the corpus callosum? You can see this is the rostrum, this is the genu, this is the body, and this is the splenium. So this is the mid-sagittal section. Half of the brain has been removed, and now you can see this. So there is cavity which is lying in relation to this corpus callosum. This is the lateral ventricle. You can see this is one convex part, and here is the concave part of the corpus callosum. The concave part is giving attachment to a curtain-like structure, that is the septum pellucidum, separating the two lateral ventricles of hemispheres, and this is the fornix, and here you can see it is the splenium. Now we are going to see, like, these are this is the most important part, that is the rostrum, genu, body, and splenium are the parts of corpus callosum. You can see when we are seeing the corpus callosum, the above it there is this callosal sulcus, and in which it is lying the anterior cerebral artery, and if we examine it closely, there is a sheet of gray matter lying over the convex surface of the corpus callosum. So if you see from above, so this is the area of corpus callosum, and this gray sheet is known as inducium gracium, which is covering the convex surface of the corpus callosum. And उस gray sheet में भी आपको चार white stria दिखाई देते हैं. दो midline में हैं, these are medial longitudinal stria, और दो lateral side में हैं, these are two lateral longitudinal stria. So if someone asks कि convex surface पे क्या क्या relations हैं, so the anterior cerebral artery, the inducium gracium, that is the gray sheet over the convex surface, and within that gray sheet there are two longitudinal bundle which are medially present stria, and thin bundles हैं, इसलिए इन्हें stria बोलेंगे, और lateral side में two lateral longitudinal strias. Now relations of the corpus callosum, इस diagram से आपको वैसे ही समझ में आ रहा है, lateral ventricle से काफ़ी closely related है. So this is the central part of the lateral ventricle, and lateral ventricle extends into the frontal lobe, that is known as anterior horn. तो जो ये anterior horn है, anterior horn की floor, anterior boundary and roof बनाई जा रही है corpus callosum से. Central part of the lateral ventricle is also having the body of corpus callosum as its roof. And now the most important thing you see is in relation to this splenium, you may get to see few things. So this is the part of the splenium, and splenium is related to this pineal gland, and the pineal gland is having one stalk. This stalk divides into superior and inferior lamina. In superior lamina you will see the habenular commissure, and this is also commissural fiber, and in inferior lamina you will see the posterior commissure. So all these things are related to the splenium part. Beside that, there you will see a sulcus in which the tila choroidea of third ventricle, that is posterior choroidal arteries, are running here. So you can see the pineal gland, the commissures, and the tila choroidea of third ventricle are lying in relation to the splenium part of the corpus callosum. Now if we take a section from here like this, a coronal section, and see the relations of the corpus callosum. So this is the corpus callosum, okay, and we are cutting from the central part of the lateral ventricle. So this is the central part. यहाँ से हमने कट किया है और आगे से देख रहे हैं कोरोनल सेक्शन में, तो क्या क्या दिखाई देगा? पहले तो ये मीडियल लॉन्गिट्यूडनल फिशर दिखाई देगा जो कि दो हेमिस्फीयर्स के बीच में है. इस फिशर से अगर हम जाकर नीचे देखते हैं तो हमें दिखाई दे रही कॉर्पस कैलोजम की सुपीरियर सरफेस, जिसके ऊपर ग्रे मैटर की शीट थी, दैट वाज योर इंडूशियम ग्रीशियम, और इसी इंडूशियम ग्रीशियम के ऊपर ये थे दो मीडियल लॉन्गिट्यूडनल लेमाइना स्ट्राया और दो लेटरल लॉन्गिट्यूडनल स्ट्राया, तो वो भी कट सेक्शन में दिखाई देंगे. ये चार दिखाई दे रहे हैं स्ट्राया. Now the anterior cerebral artery, which I told you, is running on convex surface, so it will be also seen. So उस दोनों साइड से एक anterior cerebral artery यहाँ पर रन करते हुए आ रही है. Now you can see this is the septum pellucidum. This is the area where septum pellucidum was attached. Here you can see this is septum pellucidum, और हम coronal section में देख रहे हैं तो ये septum pellucidum इस तरह से दिखाई देगा. So you have to draw that, and side में ये आपका lateral ventricle का central part है, because we are taking the section from here. So half of the central part is seen here, half of the central part will be seen here. So these are the relations of the corpus callosum. Now we have seen the relation of splenium as well. So this is the splenium, and splenium के relation में the pineal gland, the superior stalk, the inferior stalk, and उसके अंदर habenular commissure और posterior commissure. Now you can see if a short note come on corpus callosum. So the first diagram which you are going to draw is this, and the second diagram will be showing the parts of the corpus callosum. Now here you can see these are the fibers running from one hemisphere to other hemisphere, and these are the fibers at the area of body. Now these are the fibers present at the area of Genu, and these fibers run towards the frontal cortex, and these are known as forceps minor. The posterior most fibers of the corpus callosum are running towards the occipital cortex, and these are known as forceps major fibers. And you can see these red dots, these are the corona radiata fibers, basically the projection fibers which are coming toward the cortex and going from the cortex. So these corona radiata fibers are not crossing this area of corpus callosum, and these fibers are known as tapetum. So this tapetum is forming the boundary of posterior horn, forming the roof and the lateral wall of the posterior horn of the lateral ventricle. So this is important. So this is simpler diagram which you can draw. And this is the real picture. You can see the corpus callosum, the fibers running like this. This is the area of forceps minor, this is the area of forceps major. Now coming to the functions of the corpus callosum, here you see why these many 300 million fibers are running from one hemisphere to another, because they want to, the function is to transfer the information and speech from one hemisphere to another hemisphere. तो if you think कि अगर तुमने एक हाथ से कोई भी टास्क किया है, if you are drawing something, और फिर दूसरे लेफ्ट हैंड से भी उसी टास्क को करने की कोशिश करते हो, तो you are able to do, बट उतना अच्छा नहीं करते because it has not been trained. राइट हैंड को तो आपने ट्रेन किया हुआ है, मान लीजिए लेफ्ट से उतना अच्छा नहीं होता लेकिन हो जाता है वो काम. So this is because of the transfer of information from one lobe to one hemisphere to another hemisphere. So ये hemisphere learning के लिए बहुत important होती है bilateral responses के लिए. अब इन monkeys में अगर किसी young monkey में experimentally हम corpus callosum को remove कर देते हैं, यानी connection को remove कर देते हैं, तो दोनों hemisphere एक आइसोलेटेड यूनिट की तरह काम करने लग जाते हैं. यानी राइट हैंड से जो काम वो सीख रहा है वो लेफ्ट हैंड से नहीं कर पाएगा, उसी काम को कॉपी नहीं कर पाएगा. सो दैट इज़ नोन एज स्प्लिट ब्रेन सिंड्रोम. लेकिन अगर कॉन्जेनाइटली कॉर्पस कैलोसम एब्सेंट है तो डायग्नोज नहीं हो पाता है, बिकॉज फीचर्स इतनी आसानी से नहीं आते हैं. सो यू कैन से दैट this congenital absence or of corpus callosum is not easily diagnosed, and lesion of anterior corpus callosum will lead into akinetic mutism, no movement, no speech, and alexia without agraphia. He is able to write but not understand. सो एंटीरियर कमिशर फाइबर्स पढ़ रहे हैं तो हमने सबसे बड़ा कमिशर फाइबर तो पढ़ लिया, दैट वाज कॉर्पस कैलोसम. बिसाइड दैट देयर आर एंटीरियर कमिशर फाइबर्स, पोस्टीरियर कमिशर फाइबर्स, द हेबेनुलर फाइबर्स, द हेबेनुलर फाइबर्स के बाद हिप्पोकैम्पल कमिशर और कमिशर ऑफ फॉर्निक्स इज देयर. सो एंटीरियर कमिशर बहुत ही छोटे से क्यूपिड बो टाइप के फाइबर्स होते हैं जो लोअर और एंटीरियर पार्ट ऑफ द टेम्पोरल लोब्स को जोड़ रहे होते हैं. दीज आर नियोकॉर्टिकल कंपोनेंट्स एंड द पैलियोकॉर्टिकल component basically olfactory regions of both sides को जोड़ रहे होते हैं. So these are the small bundle of fibers, and here you see where these are lying. So if you see this is the lamina terminalis, तो ये lamina terminalis के upper part में इसके fibers का section में देखने को मिलता है. These are the anterior commissure fibers. Now coming on to the posterior commissure fibers, you can see this is the pituitary pineal gland which is being overhung by splenium, और इससे एक ये लेमाइना निकल रहा है. दिस इज सुपीरियर लेमाइना ऑफ स्टॉक, दिस इज इंफीरियर लेमाइना, और सुपीरियर लेमाइना में पड़े हुए हेबेनुलर कमिशर. बेसिकली ये एपिथेलमस में प्रेजेंट दो हेबेनुलर न्यूक्लियस को जोड़ रहे होते हैं. दीज आर हेबेनुलर कमिशर, और नीचे वाले में पोस्टीरियर कमिशर, एंड द पोस्टीरियर कमिशर बेसिकली कनेक्टिंग द सुपीरियर कॉलिकुलस एंड प्रीटेक्टल न्यूक्लियस ऑफ ईच साइड, दोनों साइड के कनेक्शन के लिए है. नाउ दिस हेबेनुलर कमिशर एज वी हैव डिस्कस्ड इज कनेक्टिंग द हेबेनुलर न्यूक्लियाई एंड पार्ट ऑफ द लिम्बिक सिस्टम. दिस इज द पार्ट ऑफ लिम्बिक सिस्टम. बेसिकली रिवार्ड एंड पनिशमेंट का रेगुलेशन है यहाँ पर. So you can see the slender bundle of white fiber cross midline through superior lamina of pineal stalk are the habenular commissure. Now here you see these fibers, like this is the fornix, which is the projection fiber, also including the association fibers and the commissural fibers in it. So these are the hippocampal commissure. You can see this is the crura of fornix, and the crura of fornix is being connected by the hippocampal commissure or the commissure of the fornix. It's a triangular sheet of fibers which connect the crura of the fornices. You can see this is the whole fornix which you were seeing here in relation to the concavity of the corpus callosum. So this yellow portion is the fornix, which you can see is continuing like this. तो पैपिस सर्किट में इसको हम फिर से पढ़ेंगे. एंड दिस इज द ओनली इफरेंट, दिस फॉर्निक्स इज द ओनली इफरेंट फ्रॉम हिप्पोकैम्पस टूवर्ड्स द मेमोरी बॉडी. तो ये मेमोरी बॉडी से इनका कनेक्शन होता है. तो ये सब लिम्बिक सिस्टम में पढ़ना है, सो हम इसके बाद ज़्यादा नहीं कर रहे हैं. सो ओनली थिंग विच यू नीड टू रिमेंबर इज दिस इज कमिशर ऑफ द फॉर्निक्स. तो अगर कोई पूछता है फॉर्निक्स में कौन कौन से फाइबर्स हैं, तो फॉर्निक्स में तीनों टाइप के फाइबर्स होते हैं. सो with this I end. This was the section on commissural fibers. So we have studied the corpus callosum, the anterior commissure, the posterior commissure, the habenular commissure, the hippocampal commissure, or the commissure of the fornix. Thank you for watching. This is important. You have to practice the diagram of the corpus callosum and you should know what kind of fibers are present in corpus callosum, the commissural fibers and parts of the corpus.